Right, well, here we are. I'm hoping this is going to be my last video um, for the Flaptter. You have to excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. Uh, I've done some sort of gentle weathering using a little bit of oil paint wash on there. I don't know how well it picks up on the camera, but I need to get a better camera, I guess. But uh, it's there. There's a little bit of sort of brown wash around the rivets and a little bit of streaking. That's all I need. So I'm not going to do any more on that. The gun, that's pretty much where I'm at with that. I'm not I'm not super good. So it's not going to get edge highlighted or any of the kind of the Warhammer type stuff. So that's the gun done. Pazu, um, yeah, also finished to all intent and purposes. That's all I need to do with him. And there she is, Princess. I'll glue her head on, I think, now. I've done the little crystal, so she's holding the crystal aloft. It should have it should have like a little necklace coming out the back of that, because it was a necklace around the neck, but I don't am going to bother with that. So that's that. Then these are the Flapters, and I have molded them. I've managed to mold them. I stuck them into boiling water for about 20 seconds and then left them around a cup, and it kind of formed the plastic. So I've degreased those because I had my mucky prints all over it. So I've degreased those with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and the next job tomorrow, I think, is I'm going to spray them up. Like I say, I don't want to spray very much, but I do want to get some kind of some edging on it, so you can get a bit of a clear edge. I mean, it's all right when the light catches it like that, but it doesn't mostly. So as I say, I'm going to use this kind of iridescent, probably an iridescent blue. I'll give it a blast through the airbrush on something else first, though, because otherwise that'll probably ruin that completely. Still some little greasy paw marks on there. I'll get a set of gloves on. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I want to finish. I want to finish this week because I want to get on to the next model. I really do. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and obviously I'll keep you posted as we keep on going. Greetings, troops. First off, apologise for the the attire. I mean, the shirt's quite nice, but I'm just not sure the apron works. But I want to get back in. I wanted to get back in the shed. I haven't had much time, so I've just come home from work, so I've just lobbed the apron on. So I apologise for that. But on the bright side, I do mean the bright side, I've just had some lights fitted, new lights fitted in the bunker, and that has worked very well. What didn't work very well, as on my last commentary, I was talking about spraying these up with a little bit of blue. I've put the blue away now, but did it work? No, it didn't. Not at all. In fact, it completely blocked the airbrush completely. It was what's the kind of paint called? Pearlescent. So I'm guessing the pigment in there is pretty hefty stuff. So it's completely and utterly blocked the airbrush. So today's job, before we can start anything else, is to redo the airbrush and get it nice and clean. So here it is. I've got a couple of airbrushes, but this is one that I used for the pearlescent one. It's a sort of a cheap Chinese kind of knockoffy one, but it's done me really well. I say really well for it's done me really well as can be expected for a mediocre modeler, I suppose. Anyhow, that's it, and air's coming through, but there's no paint coming through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip it down and see if I can get that working. So this is my little box of goodies. There it is. There's all sorts of in there. O-rings, brushes, cleaning kits, which I've sort of accrued over the years. Probably need to get a slightly better box for this. I think it's a 0.3 needle on there at the moment, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'll get that ready and I'll just show you my operational procedures for cleaning the airbrush. So what I start with is obviously I start stripping it down. So that's the needle out, back of the body off. I've taken that sort of just a barrel nut off as well, but it's really bunged up, and I don't know. I guess professionals would wince at what I'm about to do, but it's got to be done because I can't get it off any other way. So I've got a little set of sort of pliers here, and everything is caked up. I mean, everything is caked up. So, but that's got. God, that is really bad. That's got that one off, but I need to now separate that. So I'm going to need to get another set of pliers. Okay. So I managed to split those down. They came out, but they came out under duress. Next little bit then. This is I do need. Oh, I probably could do it with me fingers and thumbs, but I have got some tools for this somewhere. There it is. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to call it a nozzle spanner. Let's get that on there. And that takes that out. Now that's the kind of thing that any mediocre modeler would lose. So in it goes. Timmy cut. Fact. Bits so far can all go in the cup. Again, everything's a bit tight, so I've got some lube for this as well. Don't let your tools get like this, folks. I blame it on being away for all these weeks, and it's just probably should have stripped it down before I went, but I didn't. So there we go. Barrel adjuster, maybe could call that. So barrel adjuster, spring, the gubbins, of the gubbins. There's a trigger mechanism. You see how caked up that is. I'll get this quick release off. There you go. That wasn't too bad. So there's that. And this should, yeah, that should come off as well. Right. So there's all bits, with the exception of the needle. I'm not going to put the back of the body in either. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a load of isopropyl alcohol. And it's a little strong, so I'll pile in a little bit of water there with it, and then I get a couple of rock art brushes, old brushes, and I just start giving it beans in here. So that's what I'm going to do for the next 10 minutes or so, and I'll pop back when I've done it. All right, so pottling away. I say once I sort of, well, brushed it all out, you probably can't see in there very well, but anyway, it's definitely looking better than it was. Everything's sort of freed off now, which is good. I'm gonna leave it all there to dry. And get my little spiky bit out. This is a super good bit of kit, and this is the one. This is the one. Just been listening to a bit of Depeche Mode. The Jet, is it a Jet? If somebody knows what it is, please let me know. But I spiked that on my little spiky bit, and just give that. There you go. That definitely had hard stuff in there. And I wiggle this around until it feels, until it feels like it is scraping off the side. Not very good in my gloved hand because it's not very sensitive, but yeah, that feels as though it's metal on metal. I don't want to just absolutely rinse it, but so there's the nozzle, the jet, whatever you want to call it. So a few more bits to go, and then I will reassemble the bad boy and see how it goes. Okay, that is all done. So I'm going to put it back together now. Yeah, there's still crap on various bits, but I will continue sort of scrubbing that out. And then what I do is, this is sort of the final bit of the rebuild, is I use a little bit of this needle juice. Reg dab. Anyway, it's badges. So I just use a little bit of this, but the only places I touch that on really are sort of around the O-rings. It's good to put a little, because it lubricates the O-ring, keeps them a little bit better nick, I think. Around the trigger, so I whack a little bit sort of in the trigger area as well. But obviously I try and keep it away from the needle and the jet area, because I don't want all the oil getting mixed in with the paint. So I'll get that back together and that will be us done. Okay, that is done. That's all fixed up, and I've just blown a bit of airbrush cleaner through it. That all works fine. I mean, the spray pattern on these things aren't absolutely fantastic, but yeah, for the stuff I use it for, it's yeah, it's fine. No problem at all. Cool. So I'm definitely not going to use the that iridescent blue again. I mean, maybe I could try it. I have got a bigger airbrush with a sort of 0.5 needle on it and try and force it through that. But I think what I'm going to do instead, which will give it probably the same kind of effect, is I'll just use this X13 metallic blue. Not really iridescent as such, but it'll all at once. I mean, literally all at once. It's just a little bit of a shine on these, so that not completely see through, and that'll be it. I can close this chapter on the Flaptter. He's a poet and he doesn't know it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use, the metallic blue from Tamiya, X13, and I'm going to mix it. I have most success with Tamiya paints using that. I don't know what everybody else uses, but that's what I use. I mean, I do use the X20 often enough, but I just find that this stuff, it just gives a much smoother coat. And again, I don't really want a real coat. What I want is just sort of gentle misting. The amount of paint I need for this is tiny, so I could probably just mix it in the airbrush cup, but I'm crap at that. So I'll end up wasting paint, and I guess that's part of it. But I'll mix it up in there, and then whack it through and see how it goes. So there's my raw paint. In my little pot, and again, I don't know ratios really, but I want it thin, that's for sure. So that's probably, as is, 60-40, 60-40 thinner to paint. Now again, I'm learning all the time at this, but what it needs is a really thin, a really low pressure. That's still too thick in my opinion. Something else I've learned with brushing is, whenever you think you've thinned the paint enough, you probably haven't. So I'm going to whack a bit more in there. I mean, the Mystical Thinner is great stuff, but it is quite potent, pungent, and I can certainly already feel that catching in the back of the throat. See, that still looks a bit thick, but that's a little more. I'd rather be able to just mist it over, and I put a couple of mists on, than have to be wiping it all off again. All right, I'll try that. That looks about right. See how that goes. Okay, and all sprayed up. So there it is. There's one of the bigger ones. So that they'll be like that, like matched pairs. And I think I am reasonably happy with that. It's enough to just make them stand out a little bit. Of course, the issue now is how I'm going to seal those in, because I think it's such skiddy material that anything I put on there is just going to skid off the top maybe.
But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with those. I could have done a little bit of more of a green center. Have I got a metallic green? Oh, I have. Hang on. Oh no, clear green, but nah. Anyway, I'm happy. Quick while you're ahead, Kelly. Quick while you're ahead. And so I think I'll leave it at that, which is really good because that does now mean I am on the home stretch for the build. Not much more to do. Not much more to do. I need to adjust the levels on my microphone. Right, I'll get at it. I don't know these new lights that you can see. Yeah, the new lights do make a difference. They do. I'm pleased with that. So I'll let the wings set off. There we go. They'll pop in there like that. Yeah, and I think that will do. That will do just dandy. I'm almost there, thankfully. So again, this is it. We're on the home stretch. Here we are on the home stretch. Pazu's got his gun on, and then the only thing I need to do really now, well, I've got to blacken in the barrel. I can do that. That will be easy. But I want to put a strap. It's a really oddly positioned gun. I don't know how anybody would carry a gun like that. But anyway, I want to put a strap and position a strap on there. So I'll make it out of a bit of Tamiya tape. And I'm guessing from the back here, it then needs to go over that shoulder and down to there, which is a really ungainly way of doing it. But if I don't, it just looks a bit weird hanging off his hip. I think it's going to look even weirder anyway with the strap, but we'll give it a go, and then I'm always going to call it done, as they say. Oh, right. So yeah, I'm attaching this little sling for his rifle. I've made it out of, I think it's 2mm masking tape, and that's a little bit of old track from a bit of photo etch, just to make it look as though it's actually attached to something. But bloody hell, I just don't know how these lads do it. Photo etch and all that kind of super detail. I haven't got the patience. I certainly haven't got the manual dexterity to get it on. So I'm going to try and attach this now to, somewhere there. That's what it's going to look like. But I've got to try and find a way of doing that so it doesn't look completely like masking tape wrapped around a bit of plastic barrel. I've got a couple more of these. There they are. You can see that. So I'll try and forge one of those into a kind of a buckle. We'll see. Well, that's done. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. I mean, it looks like a sling. It's not ideal, but at least it looks like a sling that's on there. So I'm going to call Pazu. I'm going to call timeout on Pazu. He's done. He's ready to engage in the Flaptter. She's done. I think we're almost there, people. We're just coming on to the final touches, I think, now. These things underneath the Flapper, I don't know what they are. Jets, outlets, engines, exhausts, or something, but I'm gonna say they're engine exhausts. So I've just got a little bit of Tamiya weathering powder there on one of the youngsters' makeup thingies, and just gonna sort of bring that out, draw it down just so it looks like a little bit of exhaust staining. Oops, overdone that. Never mind. And again, I wanted to do a little bit of that around the edges of these, whatever these are. Again, that they might be exhausts, something or other. Just so it looks like it's had a little bit of use. So my intention was never to have any sort of heavy weathering on it, really, because I quite like the copper, but I think it definitely did need something. I might be able to get a little bit of touch of blue in it. Oh, that has overdone it. I guess, does copper go blue? It does now. Yeah, I think that's kind of the vibe I was going for. Stab that on. I mean, who knows what the oil is, what the fuel is, what the exhaust is on these Flapters. One of the good things about doing kind of sci-fi fantasy builds is it doesn't really matter. Yeah, happy with that. That'll work. Okay, people. Well, 19 days behind schedule for the first build of the year, but that's done. I'm calling it on that. As ever with any model I build, the 1,000 things that I could be doing to it, which I never get round to, and ultimately I have to make a decision on when it's good enough, as north of the border would say, and I think this is good enough. I'll tilt it around a little bit, hopefully Pazu stays on there, but I am pretty happy with that as it stands. So I'm going to call that built. So this finishes that build, and I'm absolutely chuffed to cheese that that's done. I'll sort this out, and then I'll get going on the next one. Now the next one, of course, I haven't got a lot of time. I've got about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks to get it done, so I might have to look for a very simple build. But folks, thank you very much for viewing the videos. I hope you enjoy them as much as I've enjoyed at least building the models. I don't know about making the videos, but anyway, thanks very much, and see you on the far side.